Welcome to Make It Now. Now today we're going to do something fairly quickly and I think you're going to enjoy it. I'm going to get together my supplies, which is some triple thick. Now you might have to buy this, okay? I use it. You can use epoxy or whatever, but I use this. It makes a beautiful shining medallion. A nail file. Maybe if you got some punches, if not, just draw perfect circles or whatever shape you want. And it's easy, just you don't even need to use a punch, but I do because it's simple. This is what we're going to make. You see this shiny heart? It just looks like a stone, but we make it with cardboard and triple thick. And I've glued it onto a heavy-duty felt, which we're going to do in a little while. But I just want to show you how to make this, because this is what you use when you make this. See, you have a focal point here. Now, this I made as well. I had a clear rock. It's that, I don't even know what they're called, a glass stone. You can get them at the dollar store. And I painted the back with fingernail polish. I just kind of blotched a bunch of fingernail polish on it, let it dry, turn it over, and you make this really pretty color. It's got some radiance in there. And this is what I did. I glued it onto the felt, heavy-duty felt, and did my design work around it, and then I added a back to it and finished it off. That's what we're targeting towards. This is what we're heading to, and we're going to make one of these on our next show, but today I'm just going to show you how to make the focal point. Okay, now I did this one already, but my film didn't come out right, so I'm going to do another one. All right, this one is a beautiful piece. Look at this one. I don't know if you can see it. Okay. My husband goes, how'd you get those leaves in there? Well, that's the paper, because if you put triple thick on it, it makes it look like a piece of stone or something. And then I added the beads, which I'll show you how to do in my next show. All right, so the first thing you want to do is get a piece of cardboard, just a piece of cardboard. Now you can use a cereal box, Jell-O box, cake, whatever, just some cardboard. Now, if you use this cardboard, it's a little thinner than this cardboard, which I pulled off a back of paper. Remember how you get those? You get a tablet of paper and you get some card stuck on the back? Well, that's what I used. And I'm going to use that. You can also use this. If you use this size, you want to cut 4 out of the same. Since I'm using this, I'm only going to cut 3 because it's thick. So I'm going to cut it with my heart cutter. Just going to cut 3. Stand up for that. 1, 2, 3. All right. And again, you can just cut out your designs. So I did 3 of the cardstock. Then I want to do 1 of the design. So this one is this paper. This one is this paper. So since I already made 1 out of this, I am going to use this one for my heart. Let's see, where do I want to put it? You could take a look and see how it looks inside and be creative. Let's see where I want to put this. Oh, that'll be pretty. Look at that one. I'm just going to punch it. To cover my working area, I always put a magazine down, and then you can just rip the page off and throw it away and go to the next page. It's just so easy to do when you're using glue. So I am going to use some regular old Elmer's glue. Not a big deal at all. And you put it on the first piece. Come on, come out wherever you are. Okay. And of course you're gonna do it almost to the edge, and then you take this piece and you just kind of rub it around and make sure all the piece of the cardboard is glued. You want to make sure it's glued all the way to the edge. And then you do the next one. You should let that first one dry a little bit before you do this so it doesn't move around, but I'm going to be doing it on a video, so I'm going to be doing it quicker. So there's my 3. You want to make sure it's glued down really good, and I use these little clips. Make sure that it's lined up. Use these clips. These are so amazing. Okay, so I'm just using this because now they leave little tiny holes because they're like, they grabbed a material, but you're not going to see this part. This is the stuff that's going to be covered. So the glue is kind of seeping out. So I'm going to pause for a moment and let that dry, and I'll be right back. So now that it's dry, doesn't take long, and you want to put the top piece on it too now. Put the top piece on once it's dried. See, it's already looking like a board, a piece of wood, when you put those three pieces together. And then this just gets down there, and you make sure it's glued perfectly on top. Let it sit for a minute. Wipe out any edges that spill out. Make sure the edges get completely glued. Look at, isn't that beautiful? That's how you make the cabochon. That's what this looks like. Okay, so now let it dry, but then you take the fingernail file and you want to file all around it so that it becomes one piece. You don't see these cracks, and as you push down on it, the particles get into the cracks and makes it a solid looking piece. Let's see what it looks like. You just simply nail file it like that. You can use sandpaper. I just think nail filing is so much easier. It's already a handle on it. So let's see what it looks like. Check it out. See, it's looking really good. It's filling in. Now you don't have to do it completely all the way because we're going to be covering the outside, but you still want to do this because then it blends it and makes it into one piece. Now if you just like it like this, put a hole in here and make a keychain. After you put the triple thick on it, you got yourself a beautiful keychain. That means you'll want to do the other side with that same design. But since we're going to glue this down, we don't need to do that. Lots of ideas. And then you just kind of sand it on the front a little bit so that the paper that might have hung over is not hanging over. And you just make sure that it's nice and the way you want it. Okay. That is how you make a cabochon. So beautiful. You can make your own designs. Now the next thing is the finishing touch. You use the triple thick. It's very inexpensive and it lasts a long time. And I just put a big glob in the middle, and it comes out kind of milky, but it dries completely clear. And then you want to push it to the edge. You don't want any holes or any gaps, so you just want to maybe dap it like this because it dries pretty quickly. So you want to go in here like this. Now, if you want it to be a really big, thick piece, you'll want to do it twice, maybe even 3 times. But the ones that I showed you, I only did once. Let's put this on the ground now. Looks like I need just a little bit more here. Yeah, just a little bit more. Okay. And I look at the edges to make sure it goes all the way to the edge. All the way up here it didn't, so I have to push it over, make sure it goes all the way to the edge. Like that. Turn it around. Is it all to the edge? Yes, yes. Do use the light to see the reflection. Okay. That is all the way to the edge. It looks a little milky, but it's going to dry completely clear. And I will come back and show you what we're going to do with it next.